Hey guys, this is Frozen Things Theos here, and welcome back to another movie review. And today I'm gonna be doing a review on Transformers: Dark of the Moon. So, Transformers: Dark of the Moon is the third installment in the Transformers franchise. Came out in the year 2011 and is directed by Michael Bay and stars Shia LaBeouf, Rosie Huntington-Whiteley, Tyrese Gibson, Josh Duhamel, John Turturro, Patrick Dempsey, Francis McDormand, John Malkovich, Kevin Dunn, Julie White, Alan Tudyk, Ken Jeong, etc. So basically, the plot for Transformers: Dark of the Moon, it tells the story of the Autobots who learn about this lost piece of their spacecraft that crash landed on the moon after the war. So they work together with NASA to race against time to be able to find the missing pieces on the moon. Turns out that missing piece actually turns out to be Optimus Prime's brother, Sentiel Prime, who pretty much crash landed in the war. And so new villains come to Earth like Shockwave and Megatron. The Decepticons, like they want a piece of this technology to rebuild rebuild the Cybertron. So the Autobots must stop them. Meanwhile, Sam Witwicky has is pretty much facing adulthood. He just finished college and he's trying to find a job, and he has a new girlfriend, and basically he gets in touch with the Autobots. As he gets involved in this mission. So yeah, that's pretty much all I can say about the plot. So yeah, you probably guys know I've never been a big fan of the Transformers franchise by Michael Bay. I did not like the first two movies. The first movie is super overrated. I know people praise it as one of the better Transformers movies, and some even go as far as calling it the best Transformers movie. Yeah, even though I used to like the film for the longest time, and it was my introduction to the Transformers franchise. Transformers franchise. It was I mean, I used to like the film, but it just didn't really age well. It was kind of boring and all that stuff. But Transformers, Revenge of the Fallen is just garbage. It is my least favorite Transformers movies, and I know everyone says the last night is the worst Transformers movie, but at least I can find a few good things about the last night, which I'll talk about those when I review the movie. Although it's gonna be a rant, the spoiler alert. It's not last night. It's not gonna be a rant, but at least that movie has good things. But I cannot find a single positive about Age of Ex. No, about I, I cannot find a single positive thing about that movie. About Revenge of the Fallen. It is just abysmal and just one of the worst action blockbusters I have ever seen in my life. So yeah, that movie really pissed me off. So yeah, I guess I guess people would have been dreading to see this movie when it first announced because of how much of a disaster Revenge of the Fallen was. But I will say it right now, the marketing of this film is really good. That trailer that they put out is awesome, and even for its time when trailers were just mostly mediocre, that trailer was just awesome, especially with the dun 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 sounds. Like it is right up there with the Transformers: The Last Night teaser trailer and the second trailer for Bumblebee as the best Transformers trailers, and I even prefer it over both of the Rise of the Beast trailer. Actually, I'm gonna say both Last Night trailers. The first trailer and the final trailer for Last Night. I mean, the Last Night had really good trailers. And Bumblebee had really good trailers too. I mean, especially the second trailer. That Bumblebee second trailer too is my favorite trailer of these. So yeah, I think this movie was definitely well marketed and it shows some potential. But yeah, it still shows some of the basics. But I just thought that trailer was awesome. So yeah, looks like this movie could have been an improvement from Transformers, the Revenge of the Fallen, and even though it was still panned, even though the movie still got panned by critics, we can all agree on the fact that this movie was an improvement over Revenge of the Fallen, because it is an improvement for me. I mean, I don't think this movie is bad at all. I mean, I think this movie is overhated and it deserves better. In my opinion, Transformers: Dark of the Moon it is the best indie Bay Forest movie, and my second favorite Transformers movie, second only behind Bumblebee. Yeah, this movie is, well, it's the best of the five Michael Bay Transformers movie. So that's pretty much my opinion. That's pretty much my opinion. It was my second favorite for the longest time. Like I didn't think it was as good as the first, but considering how much I don't really like the first anymore. I think this movie took its spot as the best in the Michael Bay franchise. But for the million dollar question, is this a good movie? Is this, even if it's the best Transformers movie, Michael Bay? It's not much of a compliment, right? Well, yeah, it's not much of a compliment because even though this is the best Transformers of the Michael Bay Transformers movie, it's still not very great. Yeah, there's still like, it's not very great, but honestly, it's actually passable. Yeah, I'm gonna say it. I'm gonna say it right now. I think this movie is passable. It's not great. It's not all that great, but it's not a bad movie either. Then there are like some efforts put into it, but definitely I'm definitely gonna point out all its flaws first. All the things that I think are wrong with this movie. So yeah, where to start with this? Where to start with this movie? Yeah, let's start off with the flaws first. So, cause the flaws are pretty. The movie pretty much starts off with the flaws. I mean, um, yeah, the first 1 hour of this movie is so slow. Like, the movie is really slow. And sluggish. Like, oh my god. Considering my hatred towards Sam Witwicky as a main character, and in this movie he has not improved from the first two films. Like, yeah, this movie is just, oh my god. Yeah, the first hour is just basically Sam, just trying to find a job for 1 hour straight and just having a personal life. Who cares about that? We're watching a movie to see the Autobots, not about Sam. And I was so bored with the first minute. It's basically just Sam funny. So there's like literally nothing going on in the first one. Yeah, sure. There are a few, like, when it comes to the Autobot scenes in the first 1 hour. I mean, that's when the movie gets pretty good. Like when they find out that Sentinel Prime is still alive, and then he pretty much tries to learn about what Earth is. Yeah, that scenes were okay, I guess, but just like the movie itself, the movie is okay, but it's too focused on the humans. Like, you even question if this is a Transformers movie because it's basically just Sam Witwicky's personal life, the movie. Like, no one cares about seeing him just go to different offices finding a job for 1 hour. At least, if you're gonna do that, at least do it for take 30 minutes. Don't waste your time with those stuff. At least, like, so I think that the first half is really unfocused and slow. Sam Witwicky, this is probably Sam at his best, at least annoying, but he's still annoying. And Shia LaBeouf still gives a terrible performance. Sam has not changed at all. I mean, all he does is just, all he does is just scream, oh no, boy. It's like, oh my god. And also, like, it's weird that he's earning an adult for a job, yet he still acts like a 10-year-old kid. So, like, every time you see him like talking to his boss in an interview, he talks like a kid, and you're just like questioning, like, why can't they make Sam grow as a character? He's an adult now. Why can't he grow as a character? And even his parents are still act dumb. Literally, his father, Ron Witwicky, literally like sits down on the stairs, in the middle of the stairs, eating and putting food on the floor. And like, I know it's a nitpick, but wow, I mean, it's just so dumb. And let's talk about Sam's new love interest, Carly. I mean, Michaela's actually a decent character, despite I don't like her in Revenge of the Fallen, even though I think she was the most tolerable thing about the movie. I actually like that Michaela as Sam's love interest, but I mean, since when did Sam get a new love interest? I know it's normal for people to switch their love interest and stuff, but I don't like this. I don't like this new girlfriend of Sam. I mean, she's just not very good. I mean, I think Sam is better with Michaela. I think they both give a really good romantic chemistry, especially in the first film. Their chemistry is pretty good for the most part. But when it comes to Sam's new girlfriend, Sam is with his new girlfriend Carly, I don't see any chemistry with them whatsoever. I don't see any chemistry with them. They literally they show zero romantic chemistry, and it's just not very good. I think they should have brought back Megan Fox and Michaela instead of this pointless girlfriend. I mean, who just speaks of fake British. I'm not being racist or anything, but like I wonder if the actress is British because the way she talks British, it sounds so fake. Like it sounds very fake, like fakeish, and it's just weird. So yeah, I think they both have not good chemistry, and even the actresses who gave a performance, it's not good. Her performance is so bland and just she looks so bored. Like she looks like she didn't want to be in this, and I don't even know who the actress is. Well, based on my research, I did research actually. She was actually in Mad Max Fury Road, which is interesting, but because Mad Max Fury Road is pretty much better than all the movies Megan Fox is in, but. Yeah, but I'm just not really a huge fan of this new character, and I just yeah I just don't care about it. And also the movie John Turturro had far too much screen time. He was still an annoying character. I never liked it to begin with. I easily put him in my top five worst characters. Like why there's a little too much of him. But then let's talk about the human villain of the movie, Patrick Dempsey's Dylan. Oh my god. Ugh. Like, where did I even start with him? Like, he's an awful villain. And this is Patrick Dempsey's worst performance period. I mean, you were you were Robert from Enchanted. What happened to you? Why you had to play this awful character? And even the acting is not good. Yeah, Dylan, like, I mean, the villain film like felt so forced. Like there was no need for a human villain, and his motivation is pretty much the same as Sentinel Prime, which I will talk about him later on because I got good things to say about him. He's like if he's just basically the human version of Sentinel Prime, where like he wants where like he's motivated to join the bad guy side because he believes that joining the winning side will make you win. So join the bad guys would mean winning since they're winning. Like I like that concept for a villain, but not with Dylan, not with this guy, this forced in horrible human villain right there. All right, so guys, so that's all for my flaws with the movie. But now let's get into the good things about the movie because when it comes to the good things about the movie, they're really good. Okay, I want to start by saying that this is the most visually stunning in the Transformers franchise. The best looking in the Transformers franchise. It just looks really good. It looks really clean. There's not much of the knockout-based shaky cam that you usually see in these bad Transformers movies. It actually it's surprisingly shot really well, and and there's some really good cinematography too. Cinematography too. Well, I'm not sure if I would actually say this is the best looking because I I gotta see with Age of Extinction in the last night, but I really enjoyed I'm really enjoying the seeing the visuals. It does look it is good looking, but I will say this yeah, I mean the CGI of the Autobots that was with the best visuals. Like, yeah, I mean that's probably the coolest Autobots design is whether with the Autobots themselves or the Decepticons. Yeah, I mean their CGI looks really good and probably the most believable and most faithful to the Autobot to the source material. And yeah, these Autobots characters are actually at their best. I mean, Bumblebee is no longer annoying, unlike in the second film. Thank God for that. Optimus feels like a true leader this time around, like trying to know what it means to protect Autobots. And I mean, he actually has real character development. Like, that they don't usually develop these Transformers characters that much, but in this movie, they actually do develop some of its Transformers. There was actually character development for Optimus. like learning that Optimus just fights without a fan, without strategy, and just happens. And there are like so many new things we learned about Optimus that we didn't know in the others. And Sentinel Prime is the best Transformers villain. I love this whole villain concept of an Autobot betraying his own kind and joining the Decepticons because he believes that the Decepticons are already winning and he wants to be part of the winning team. So he just knowing that the Autobots are losing and they aren't as strong as the Decepticons, he betrays everyone and joins their side. And actually, they actually use this as a plot twist because when we first meet Sentinel Prime, we see him as a hero. We see him as a good guy, and the Trigger Sun never really marketed him to be a villain. So knowing that, Sentinel Prime actually becomes a villain as a plot twist is that, and sure, yes, you can say what you want about plot twists being overdone nowadays, but um when it comes to the plot twist of Sentinel Prime, it's actually great. It's a great plot twist that Sentinel Prime is actually a Decepticon. That is a brilliant plot twist, and he actually feels like a real threat when it comes to villain, like wanting to rebuild Cybertron because he doesn't like the human, because he doesn't appreciate the human race, and he convinces Optimus that humans are bad. But even though Optimus chooses humans over his own kind, but that's pretty much what causes Optimus to have enemies. It's how he chooses. He admires humans when his enemies don't want him to trust humans because they know humans are bad. Humans are bad, which is further established in the next film. And yeah, and I gotta say this, the action scenes in this movie, wow, this movie has the best action scenes. This movie has the best action scenes in the entire Transformers franchise. Now I will say the opening scene of Bumblebee is probably my favorite action scene in any Transformers movie. But besides that one, I think this movie has some of the best. This the third act is some of the best that this franchise has offered. Aside from the Bumblebee movie itself, the third act of this movie was perfect. Are there overuse of explosions and basins? Yeah, but I mean it's mostly the explosions that are present. It does have too much explosions, but when your final battle is as great as is as dope as this movie is, then I can easily forget the explosions because the Chicago final battle in this movie is dope. It actually pushes its PG-13 ratings to the limit by having some Transformer gore to it, and there are some really high stakes. Like our human characters are actually put in danger, and the whole like thing of wanting to rebuild Cybertron, it's done in such a threatening way where the stakes of the final battle are raised really high, and resulting in like such a big final battle, like such a huge final battle where every single thing in the final battle is satisfying. I mean, the movie starts picking up and starts getting pretty good where um in the scene when in the scene with the highway chase yeah, that scene was awesome, and every single action scene in this movie is awesome. There's not a single action scene where I would be like it's not that good. It's not that good. But because this movie I mean does some have all the action scenes are great, and yeah, the Chicago final battle is just awesome. Yeah, seeing all these Autobots together, like it's a really good action scene. And Shockwave is amazing in this movie. He's a great villain, even though he doesn't talk. I mean, that's probably one thing that makes his character unique is that he doesn't talk, and it's kind of interesting to see that. And Megatron is good too. Even though I feel like his return was unnecessary, I feel like he was actually pretty good in this movie. He was pretty good for the most part, and for the most part, and yeah, and when Optimus came in to save the day and end the final battle, My God, and also seeing Optimus actually be torn down by Sentinel, that is brutal. Like when when Sentinel actually tears Optimus' arms apart and nearly kills him, but thankfully Bumblebee is there to save the day. Bumblebee, the goat of the Autobots, the best Autobots, no competition. That was so satisfying. And then at the end of this movie, it actually feels like a proper ending to feels like a proper ending to the Transformers franchise, and it makes you question why does Age of Extinction and The Last Night exist? Why? This movie feels like an actual sequel to the first movie more than Revenge of the Fallen was. So overall, Transformers Dark of the Moon is the best in the Michael Bay Transformers franchise, and my second favorite Transformers movie overall. Well, unless if you count the animated Transformers movie, it's probably like number three. Um, because I prefer the animated 90s 80s movie over this. Transformers Transformers Dark of the Moon is not a great movie by any means. It is ruined by most of its human characters. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention as well. Terry Gibson and Josh Duhamel are pretty much the two standouts of the 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 two standouts of this movie. When it comes to human characters, they both like great. Yeah, but this movie is bounded up by its human characters. Sam Witwicky is still terrible. Carly is a blind love interest. Like and the first 1 hour is so slow. It was so sluggish. I think it could have been paced better. And I even forgot to mention Ken Jeong's character. Not a fan of him, and this movie is no exception. But no exception. I mean, he's just kind of stupid. But even with the first act being incredibly slow, it more than makes up for the next two acts. The second act is pretty okay, which is pretty much what this movie is. The best way to describe this movie, it's okay. I mean, it has a fair share of slow scenes and some really good scenes, but that's where the movie starts picking up. And it leads to a masterpiece of the third act. The third act is amazing. I love that third act, the final battle. Like, easily the best final battle in the entire Transformers franchise. So yeah, while it is the best of the Michael Bay Transformers movie, I still don't think it's a great movie, but I actually would give this movie a pass. I actually think it's okay for the most part. So with that said, guys, I'm gonna give Transformers Dark of the Moon a 6 out of 10. So also for my review of Transformers on Dark of the Moon, I'm sure everyone can agree that this movie is way better than Transformers 2, 4, and 5. So yeah, what is your opinion on Dark of the Moon? Who agrees with me that this is the best of the five Michael Bay Transformers movies, or do you still prefer Transformers 1 over this? Comment down below, like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, and stay tuned for my rant on Transformers Age of Extinction. Oh boy. Bye guys.